For this session, we're going to discuss the Transcend H3 insert window by Sierra Pacific. As a quick review, the H3 window design is unique and is perfectly suitable for replacement. The exterior main frame around the perimeter is made of a heavy gauge 78 thousandths vinyl and is multi-cavitied and multi-channeled for strength. The exterior is a heavy extruded aluminum that accommodates up to 75 standard finishes from Sierra Pacific, and also in the double hung would house the screen channel. And on the interior is a solid wood, not veneers or laminates, and can be done in one of 9 standard species. The sash is a full 1 3/4 inch thick, and it's designed to be able to accommodate 3/4 inch overall insulated glass or 1 inch insulated glass and triple glazing. The original design of the H3, developed approximately 14 years ago, was for new construction and would have a vinyl nail fin that was integral to the vinyl mainframe. For the insert window, we took that and we removed the nail fin so that we had a box frame design that would allow nice installation for multiple applications. And then the interior wood portion was reduced slightly to give it as much a reduced depth as we could and still maintain the integrity and strength of the wood on the interior. For this demonstration of its application, we're going to utilize a common wood double hung frame, in this case an all wood version. And the way that these are typically designed and have been designed for the last 50 to 70 years is that the exterior would be of a brick mold or a casing and could be either profiled or could be flat. There's a jamb or main frame of the window that the depth was determined by the size of the wall at original construction of the home. There's an exterior blind stop as well as an interior stop or extension, and this is what holds the sash in place in the pocket or the balance system from falling out, as well as the sash from falling out. And then commonly your interior moldings or casings would be applied over this interior extension. Now, if you were installing a replacement window from the interior, this particular design is somewhat cumbersome because in order to effectively insert a window from the interior side, you would need to remove this interior casing and then remove this interior stop or extension to give yourself a free opening to be able to slide the window in, and it would fall up against this exterior blind stop, and then these components on the interior would then be reapplied or replaced, whichever the case. Additionally, oftentimes you'll find window treatments mounted on this casing, so for installation, to make it even more cumbersome, those window treatments have to be removed before the interior trims and moldings can be removed, and then even upon replacing those, you might incur some refinishing that would have to be done. So the net result is that installation from the interior side on common double hung design like this is somewhat cumbersome and can be expensive. So our approach in developing the H3 insert window was to promote it being installed from the exterior. And the way that this is done is the exterior blind stop shown here would be cut off around the sides and the top and then removed and discarded. Then the sash and the balance systems or any parting stops could be removed. If it was an older weight and pulley window, the cords could be cut and then the weight's allowed to drop inside the wall cavity and the pulleys and things removed and the opening cleaned so that it was prepared for the new window. And in many cases, installers prior to putting in a new window will run caulk along the back edge and along the sill to side jamb to seal that from any further potential of water penetration through the frame. Now we have an opening that ironically runs about the same depth as the H3 window. By changing this, as I mentioned, or modifying this versus the new construction version and making it into an insert replacement gave us an overall front to back frame depth of 5 1/8 inches. And ironically, that turned out to be the same depth of common double hungs from the inside surface of this interior stop or molding to the outside face of the brick mold was also 5 1/8 inches. So with each H3 window, insert window, we include an installation package, and within that installation package is a 3/8 backer rod, a package of shims, and some wood angled sill fillers, and I'll explain that in a minute, and then all your necessary installation screws along with installation instructions. So once the opening is cleaned and prepared for the new window, the H3 insert can begin to be installed. As I mentioned, these sill blocks are designed to then install onto the sill and give us a flat surface with which to mount the window on. So the installer will nail those down to the sill. And as you can see, flattens out our slope sill design to make installation easier. When measuring for the new window, I might add, the width is measured between the sash pocket for the width to both sides, and the height is measured from the head pocket down to the high point of the sill. But if you're using these wood blocks add a 1/4 inch back here, so you would have to deduct another 1/4 inch in order to determine the size of the insert window that you needed. But once these are applied into the opening, we can then take our window and we can set it into the opening, rest it on those sill blocks, and we have a nice flat surface with which to set our window. The balance channels have pre-drilled holes through it, so installation screws are then screwed through the balance channels on both sides to set the window, and once it is set in place, we can then apply low expansion foam, and then we can take our backer rod and we can insert it into that cavity along the sides, and then once it's in place, then we can apply caulk over that, and we essentially have a finished installation for the sides and the top. Each window comes with a bottom expander. This one is sized at 1 7/8, and the window itself has a full perimeter accessory groove. So this expander fits into the bottom accessory groove and snaps into place. And then prior to that, we might want to apply some fiberglass insulation underneath the window, and to minimize air infiltration there, and then we can finish caulk along the bottom if so chosen, and if that's the normal method for installing and finishing off the window. Now, we still have some wood exposed around the perimeter, and in many cases that may need to be covered, and installers typically will do it a couple of different ways. One is to apply aluminum trim coil. Now, we offer aluminum trim coil in 14 different colors, and they come in a 50-foot roll by 24 inches. And that can be taken to the job site and cut in the necessary lengths, and then it's bent to the shape needed to effectively cover exterior moldings. So once that's bent, that aluminum can either be tucked back inside prior to applying backer rod and caulk and fastened in place and then wrapped around the edge of the molding, or it can be tucked into this accessory groove that's in the H3 insert window and then covered over the wood as well, because the H3 basically is flush with that brick mold, so it makes a nice area to trim it. Now, in the event that for some reason a color of cladding is chosen that is not readily available in the trim coils, there's an optional system that we provide in an extruded material. This is a little tougher, and obviously can be done in all of the colors and the same grade of finish that the window is. And the way this one works is that this particular 90-degree receptor, it's called, is applied to the outer edge of the exterior casing and can either be installed countersunk with flathead screws here, or it can be screwed in along the side if the edge of the molding is exposed, and then you can take a piece of trim extender, a length of trim extender that's necessary, and that can be applied into the accessory groove of the window and then slotted into that corner receptor, and it'll give us a look that looks similar to this right here. And everything would be in the same color and grade of finish as I mentioned. So once that is complete and done for both the sides, the head, and the sill, our installation is complete, and what we end up with is a window installed and shown in such a manner that once installed into place, we have a nice wood interior that's finished off. We didn't touch any of the moldings on the interior, and everything looks nice and finished.